Live and locals. Okay. All right, stations, if you're watching this as a, or not stations, I'm sorry. Stations, you're live with me. If you're watching this as a rerun after today's date of Saturday, July 19, you will skip ahead here about 14, 15 minutes. Starting the radio broadcast, just getting on a little early, get the audio levels set for the radio stations, and a pre-chat of what is going on in world history today. High school rodeo finals. I tell you what, the North Dakota kids are doing pretty god darn good. You know what I'm saying? Saddle Bronc, they won last night. I think goat tying, Carly Miller won that one last night. Both are there. And there you go. Congratulations. Dave, good morning. Let's see what's going to be on tap here. Let's see. Waylon, morning. Brian, good morning. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Bulgy, good morning, morning. Karen, good morning to Mobridge. Good to see you. I don't know why radio people say that. We'll see you tomorrow. See you on the radio. Make sure I got this stuff ready to go. Yep. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. All right. One shot. Good morning. Speaking of that, let's take one. Ivermectin Saturdays, baby. Miss my mouth. Oof, that shit doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. 5 years now. Ooh. But I'll give you this. I have not had a tick in 5 years. Not a single one. And I found some pretty ugly stuff. Like this week I went through on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? I went through some stuff, and I mean I had to crawl through the bullberry bushes and everything, and not a single tick. So morning, Wayne. Weekend of shooting competition this weekend, then off to the Western Championship in Vegas. Cool. Are you hauling a horse, or are you going to rent a horse down in Vegas? Because that's a long drive. Tim? Heavy fog there. Question: have you heard of any firearm manufacturers announcing plans to release commemoratives for the nation's 250th birthday next year? I have not, but I'm guessing that they all will. Somehow, some way. I'm guessing most of them are probably going to do that for the 250th. You're taking 5 horses. Wow. Yeah. Good luck to you. Yeah. Are you going to do some filming for the Ranch America show on that same side? You're going to do a little filming of that? Oh, man. Oh, it is a windy one today, and we got a chance of some inclement little pop-up storms coming here this morning. Little nasty stuff here. They say wind, hail, and tornadoes possible today. May try to get some B-roll footage. Okay, cool. When you say we are taking 5 horses down, is that just you and your wife, or you got somebody else riding with you? Let's see. Stations, I'm going to do an early countdown here. I'll do the 6:59, 7:59 Central Time. Just so I want to make sure I have time to give my guest a call and get them 4 of us going. Good deal. Is one of them Sue Mosser? Be interesting drive. All right, stations we have 659, 759 coming up here. Hopefully everybody's listening. Not on Mark. Okay, give my guy a call here. What is it? Let's see if that's the phone number.
Morning, Scott.
Good morning, Tyler. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pronunciation of your last name?
Newt.
Just like it is.
Yep.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. Don't have some
Perfect.
Don't have some fancy pronunciation.
Nope. I sure don't.
All right. Well, I appreciate the text yesterday, and little information is good. I didn't realize you did Tacko Outdoors. That's pretty cool. So we get to talk about two things today between the SCI and that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Tacko's kind of become a little pet project of mine. It's not my full-time gig, but yeah, something I kind of took a idea I had a couple of years ago, and yeah, slowly growing from there. So
I'll help you grow it. I did that with helped a guy down in Spearfish, South Dakota. Had him on, I think 3 different times I had him on my program, and now he's big enough that he does not respond to my messages anymore. So
that's a shame.
Yeah.
Because you always got to remember where you came from.
Yeah, he grew this thing into just a monster. And then I realized that my dentist in Spearfish is also co-owner of it, silent partner of it. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. So,
do you live down there then?
No, I live south of Medora, about 50 miles south of Medora.
Gotcha.
So my stations, I cover both states, which is why it's Dakota Prairie Outdoors, so I'm covering both sides. So if you know of any events in South Dakota too, you can feel free to push those as well. I tried to search it on the main website, and I can't find where you guys have individual states where you can go on and find banquets. So I'm not sure where those are at.
So
I just see the national one.
Yep. So there's a chapter down in Rapid called the Greater Dakota chapter. And, I honestly don't know any of those guys. Brian, our president, and I are going to actually go down there I'm going to be there for a wedding that weekend, but we're going to pop into their banquet. So, yeah. I'm fairly new to the SCI world, to be honest with you. A lot of SCI guys typically are a lot older. The mantra in our room is a lot different. It's a lot more younger crowd. It feels more like I don't know how familiar you are with like conservation chapters, but typically like you go to like the big SCI events, it feels kind of white collary.
Yeah.
But we're not live yet, are we?
Nope, we are. We're just on the YouTube channel here right now, just getting ready.
Gotcha. Yeah. So a lot of them are like a lot of elder people and well-dressed people were like our banquets, a lot of blue jean wearers. And,
so you got to remember too, though, you need the older crowd in there because some of those guys are sitting on a pile of cash.
Yes, they are.
When I was going out and helping with banquets and doing emceeing and auctioning them all over the place, there was the sleeper ones where when it came to the live auction, there was one guy out of Williston that would buy the most expensive thing every time, and he didn't care what it cost. He was going home with it just because he wanted serial numbered individual, like gun of the year or whatever it was, and he wanted them serial numbers. And it's sometimes those sleeper ones, but you got some of these young guys that have some of these businesses that need to have a tax write-off too. So it's fun to see a little bit of both. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it is. And, we try to do a lot of raffles and youth stuff. And so that's helped.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of youth stuff has got grandparents involved, but it's also got the younger generation that have kids involved. So that's really helped us out too. And
yeah. So when you say younger crowd, you're talking what, 30 and under, or what's he?
yeah,
Okay.
We've got two chairs on our board. Our secretary and our treasurer, they're both in their early 20s. President's in his 50s.
Yeah.
I sit in my middle 40s. Our board is very diverse. We probably have a 50-year age gap from top to bottom in our boardroom at our board meetings, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. I mean, you have I would call it overall health of age and lots of demographics involved, and it brings a different scope to things.
Well, the reason I say this is because my buddy Waylon Turner says he's going to try to make it to the banquet. All depends on the boys' baseball schedule, but I know damn well he's not a young guy anymore.
No, I don't think Waylon's a lot older than me, but I think we all got to remember we're not getting younger every day.
He's way older than I am. I mean, that guy. All right, we got less than 60 seconds here to showtime, so I guess I'm going to just turn you down. You're going to hear me do a countdown for the stations, and then you'll hear the music playing, and we'll get into it. All right?
Sounds good, Scott.
Stand by here. All right, stations. We got a 30 seconds of showtime. 30 seconds of showtime on mark. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, heard all across the Dakota Territory and great radio stations like KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY, Mobridge, South Dakota. Hope the fishing's going well on you guys there. Let's go to Bismarck, celebrating 100 years in the radio industry, K-Fire 550. KCJB and Minot and the Western Edge, KLTC, along with 106.9. Good to have you guys along here this morning. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. And what we'd like to do is have a good time talking outdoors and what's going on across the Dakota Territory in the outdoors. And my buddy John Arman, he's my information man. He's my go-to guy. He's been sending a few people my way. And one of them is Tyler Newt. Tyler, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Scott?
I'm well. So John Arman is a mutual friend of ours. And, just one of those guys where I met him, oh my golly, how many, 20 plus years ago. I saw his pickup and I walked in and introduced myself. And we sparked out a friendship right there. And he says, Scott, there's a guy you should talk to. He helps with the Safari Club International in the North Dakota chapter. We'll be talking about, there's a South Dakota chapter coming up here in Rapid City on August. We'll talk about that as well. But this guy texted you, and you also do a few other things here. And one of those, we'll get to talking about SCI. But I want to talk to you about your Tacko Outdoors. What is it? And give us a little history about you and what brings you to the North Dakota side, or have you been born and raised here? What's going on?
Yeah, so like a lot of people, I'm born and raised. I don't know if I'm too proud or too stubborn and never left. I'm going to go with proud. I like to say North Dakota.
Tyler, it's the same thing. Proud and stubborn is the same damn thing.
Yeah, it is. Grew up in the southeast part of the state.
Okay.
Grain cattle farm. Been involved in hunting like a lot of kids in North Dakota. Dad, granddad, that type of stuff. And involved in some conservation stuff earlier on in my life, and then in the last couple of years got really involved with SCI Teddy Roosevelt, and also Tacko Outdoors is kind of a hobby pet project business of mine. And they kind of go hand in hand together somewhat, but yet they don't. But gives me a lot of ties to the industry and get to meet people like John Arman and uh, Rian Jacobs from Boswell Jacobs in South Africa and Rudy Martin from Northern Professional Outfitters in Alaska. So much like North Dakota, the hunting world is a super, super small community too. And it's a very tight knit community, and everybody wants to see people survive and thrive and do well for themselves. So it's kind of a cool place to be.
Well, so tell us a little bit. What is Tacko Outdoors? And it's if you want to follow along on your websites, everybody, it's TAKCO Outdoors. Tacko Outdoors.
Yeah, so Tacko Outdoors really it was a thought I had on a hunting trip, and I work in the ag industry. I've been in sales for my entire life, and been on some good trips, been on some not so good trips, and I just decided that it was time to basically build everybody was calling me like, where are you on? What are you doing? Because I do a lot of hunting and trips myself, and I like to disconnect. And really what it has evolved to is we work with outfitters across different regions, and we also do a lot of float hunt planning in Alaska. And our one thing that we stand behind is we only work with people that we've spent our own time and money with.
Mm-hmm.
We don't work for somebody just for a paycheck. There's a lot of places, a lot of companies that, just work for an outfitter. They work on a straight commission fee, and they've maybe never met the outfitter. They call the outfitter's reference list, and they decide they're going to work with them because they have a great reference list. When you work with us, our reference list is Tyler and I. My business partner in the business is also, his name is Tyler, and we both love to hunt, but we've spent time with every outfitter we work with. So that's really one thing that makes us unique.
It's one thing a person has to understand when you try to book a hunt through somebody like yourself. Have they actually used these guys, right? I mean, when I go hog hunting in Texas, I just got another reference from a gentleman that just came back, and he's like, I've been to 8 different people down there. He says, these guys really take care of you, and they have their own helicopter. So you can have that opportunity too. And it's like, well, if you were there and you had a good experience, that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable about using that service. And so let's talk about Alaska hunts. I mean, why do most people want to go to Alaska? Is it because of the game, or is it because of the friendly way of getting tags up there? Which way is it, or is it both?
I think it starts out with the appeal of moose and caribou and the friendly way of getting tags. And once you get there, it becomes the idea of where's the next river, where's the next mountain. Yeah. For me, the animal has become the bonus. We're going in 2 weeks on a caribou hunt, and I have every intentions of filling my tag and hope to, but we're going to be on a fairly new area of the region on a river that I've never been on. I'm excited to just see new country. And that's one thing with Alaska. They always say in the West, every bend in the rivers could be different. And there's 100% truth to that. You're never going to find anything. And it's super remote, quiet. I mean, I remember one time we were sitting in camp, and we heard this humming noise, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. And we started looking around, and we absolutely couldn't figure it out. 4 days later, when the pilot came in to pick us up, we're telling him where we were at, and he's like, "Oh, that was such and such village." And we're like looking on Onyx. We were 17 miles from that village, and we could hear their generators running. That's how quiet it is in Alaska at night.
Unbelievable. So caribou hunting is one of my bucket list. And have you done it before? Have you went up and went after caribou before?
I have.
You have?
I have, yeah. I've got a really nice one in the basement, and hopefully that's a hard horn caribou. I really hope to get a soft, velvet horned one this year. So yeah, caribou hunting is a lot of fun. It can be very frustrating at times though.
Are they in the mountain side of things, or are they on the plains part of Alaska? Where are they usually located at?
That's the funny thing, and a lot of people don't know that about caribou. They're all over. They're in the plains. Okay. They're in the river valleys. They're right up in the top of the mountains. A lot of, even when we've been floating rivers, we'll be glassing up in these big mountain ranges, and you'll see Dall sheep and mountain goats. They're up right in the rock cliffs, and just below them, maybe 100, 200 yards down the mountain, is where you're going to find the big, big resident bulls. And you'll see them up there. They look just like sheep, but they're a different color. That's really where them big, big bulls like to live.
So what is a big caribou, like score-wise?
Everybody strives to get one in that high 300s. 400 is obviously a real giant caribou, and every year there's multiple that are taken well over 400.
Okay. So it's a lot like elk then. So as it comes to big scoring on that. Okay. And the meat, how does it taste?
Early on in the year, it's a really good meat. Late, like I shot one really late a couple of years ago. It's a little gamier. They rut. They're a nomadic animal.
Yeah.
So they're super lean. There's not a lot of fat on the bone. So it is a little different tasting.
Well, I tell you what, you stay with me. Tyler Newt is my guest. Tacko Outdoors is his website. We're also going to be talking about some SCI stuff too. But if you have questions, comments, feel free. 888-932-5682 is a call-in number, or you can text me at 701-425-6651. You have questions, we'll take care of them. We'll be back right after these messages.
Join Piper's Auctioneers for these summer auctions across the upper Midwest, including farm and ranch retirement auctions in Sherwood, Dodge, Mapleton, Steele, Bowman, and Sioux Falls, and an excellent late model farm equipment auction in Albany, Minnesota. Also, join Piper's for the second annual Len Sadler Classic Car Auction in Bowman on July 26th for nearly 50 classics, featuring a 1990 ZR1 Vet and an 08 Shelby GT500 with low miles. For full details and online bidding on all upcoming auctions, log on to pifers.com.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Boat Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner in ag lending. With our deep understanding and appreciation for the Western way of life, we proudly accept, respect, and promote the values that define our community. Whether you're a farmer, rancher, or business owner, we are here to support your financial needs and help you thrive. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for all your banking needs.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's your tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19-plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair.
veteran owned and operated. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where local banking is as comfortable as your favorite pair of work boots. Step into our branches and experience a friendly atmosphere, personalized service, and financial expertise. Whether you're a hardworking farmer, a small business owner, or a local resident, we've got the banking solutions that you need. So kick off your boots and let us take care of your financial needs at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors continues on. I'm going to say it's an iffy Saturday morning here at the ranch. Here we got some not so friendly clouds coming in here from the west. The nice thing about living in the Badlands, though, is once it hits the breaks, it usually splits around, which isn't always nice, but they're calling for a lot of hail and possible tornadic activity. So hopefully you can skim around that. Hey, big congratulations before we get back to the program here to the North and South Dakota High School Rodeo Finals is going on. The Nationals are going on, and those kids are whooping it up down there. So congratulations to those kids. And last weekend had the opportunity to do the market sale for the 4-H at the Bowman County Fair, and I think we set a record for those kids, especially in the beef and swine. Holy moly. So a lot of fairs going on around, and make sure to support those 4-H kids. Tyler Newt is my guest here. Tacko Outdoors. We'll be talking on the second half a little bit more about SCI. But, Tyler, during the break, we were discussing the physical condition that you need to be to go on some of these hunts. Now, do you take that in consideration when somebody calls in and they say, well, I'd like to do a caribou hunt in Alaska? Do you go through any of the physical demands and mental demands that this is going to take so they can prepare themselves, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, generally it starts, somebody will inquire, whether it's on the website or Facebook or, word of mouth. That's the one awesome thing. North Dakota, South Dakota, real small states, hunting community, real small, get a lot of word of mouth referrals. So usually the first phone call starts with, talk about what your goals are and what you've done. And that really, without over stressing somebody, is really the way I like to approach it. I like to hear about what they've done. And, if it's a guy that, let's say he goes down to Missouri and goes whitetail hunting with an outfitter every year, and that's the extent of his hunt. Well, a 70 or 80 mile float probably isn't the next step in his hunting adventures. But if he's done some drop camps or a couple 2-3 day backpack excursions, especially, always help you. The one nice thing about a float hunt is you're not carrying your camp on your back. You're carrying it in a raft. So it's not like elk hunting where you're going to, carry stuff way back into the back country. So that definitely helps you. I always say your mind plays a bigger role in it than your ability to run 20 miles. So
another thing, I get a message from the mayor of Mobridge here. He says, I'd like to take my Remington Model 81 in a 35 Rem on a moose or caribou hunt someday. And that makes me think, do you recommend certain calibers for different hunts that you take them on? And if they want to take a certain gun, say, this is the one I want to take a caribou with. And do you allow that, or do you always carry a backup around just in case?
I really don't want to tell a person what caliber they can and can't hunt with.
Okay.
I will give them some advisement from here and, from my knowledge. The one thing when it comes to a weapon is knowing your weapon and placing the arrow or the bullet in the right place is more key than anything. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that take 6.5 PRCs on these float hunts. You're not going to shoot a moose at 600 yards with a 6.5 PRC,
right?
But you can shoot a caribou at that distance. Knowing your weapon and shot placement is a way bigger factor in it than how big the gun is.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to cost, I know, we've been talking about Alaska, but how does that work? If, instead of me going on the website and finding some outfitter up in Alaska or wherever, Texas or wherever it may be, and me doing all the legwork, what does using Tacko Outdoors, what is using you benefit me for saving all that kind of work?
We pretty much have everything dialed down to exactly how I would want to run a trip as a client, all the way down to, we have a vehicle waiting for you at the Fairbanks Airport when you land there. There's an Airbnb house ready for you. And from that point, everything is, you get to Fairbanks and everything's taken care of. Or even, we have an operation out of Sitka where we do boat-based stuff, whether it's fishing or blacktail hunting. And Brandon, the owner of that boat, he actually picks you up right at the airport. You fly into the airport in Sitka, he picks you up, and everything else from there, you're on his watch. He's got everything under control. And really, that's our MO. Like, we want to have a strict plan. Everybody has an itinerary. We're really kind of a cross between a hunt consultant, booking, planner, where we basically have an itinerary too. I was just talking last night with guys that are, wanted the rundown on how our Airbnb vehicle option goes. And they're like, well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And it's just keeping things simple, walking everybody through it is really where we thrive.
Well, the thing about it, there might be some small things in there that I wouldn't think about, right? Now, how does it come across with licensing? Do you help with that process, or is the individual in charge of getting their own licenses and getting that taken care of?
So the individual buys their own license. We always coach everybody through every step of the process. Alaska says 2 weeks if you're going to buy your license in advance to get them in the mail. I'd recommend 3 weeks just to be safe, but you can go right on the website, buy all your stuff. Now you have to, if you're going to moose hunt, you have to go through a moose hunter education class. It's not real tough. Then they send you your tags and your locking collars in the mail, or you can simply fly into Sitka, Anchorage, Fairbanks, go down to the sporting goods store, buy your tags and locking collars.
Really?
That works. Yep. And that works about 95% of the time. They do occasionally run out of locking collars, and a locking collar is literally an aluminum band with a number on it, and it locks around the horns and it stays there.
Yeah. That's how it used to be in the old days here in the Dakota territory too. There's some mounts down in the basement from in the 50s and 60s. They have those metal tags on them.
Yeah, the metal tags are pretty cool. I mean, they look neat. Like, I've got some European mounts from the last decade in my house and trophy area, and they're still on there. Like,
so a message comes up, says he's a hunting agent instead of a travel agent, but you also take care of the travel too, so you're both of them.
Pretty much, yeah. We'd like to take care of everything. I mean, once client gets booked with us, I've got an extensive packing list. I'm a detail-oriented person, and you're not carrying everything on your back when you're in Alaska, but we are carrying everything in with an airplane, so pounds do start to add up and matter, because a raft weighs about 120 pounds, and we're limited to how much. So, like, I still plan a float hunt like I do a elk hunt, where I try to trim weight in my pack any way I can, and especially you get 2 weeks worth of food. For me, I like to go for that 12-day range is really what I find to be a real good float hunt. Some guys can't do that much time. 8 to 10 days is pretty common then. But you start packing 2 weeks worth of food along, and the weight adds up in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, especially so you purchase, I'm guessing, most all the food when you fly into Alaska, and that's where you kind of stock up on your items and then take them with you, I guess. Right? You don't really ship them up there, do you?
You can do that. I'm actually a strict planner. This weekend, I'm actually going to start planning for my packing food for my trip on August 8th. We go into the bush. I break my meals down differently than a lot of people do, and I'd like to be really organized. And I actually number my meals to take just to kind of plan my food out for the course of 2 weeks or 10 days or whatever the number is. And I take that level of thought out of it. So I just really just eat off my system that I plan out throughout the month ahead of the trip. Yeah. So I'll arrive in Fairbanks ready to go hunting. And there might be trips where when I get to Fairbanks, I might go get a shower, and 2 hours later I might be on a bush plane out to the bush.
Nice. Well, if people have questions, where do they go to find the information the best to get in contact if they're interested in any of these, not just Alaska, but other places too? Where do they find that info?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook. Tacko is our page, and it's TAKCO. And that really stems to the different part. And it's AKCO for Alaska to Colorado Adventures. We do a lot of stuff in the lower 48. We're expanding every day. We do some stuff in Europe. Or go to tackooutdoors.com. Or if you got my phone number, call me. 701-320-4971.
All right, we'll be back with more right after these messages.
Join Piper's Auctioneers for these summer auctions across the upper Midwest, including farm and ranch retirement auctions in Sherwood, Dodge, Mapleton, Steele, Bowman, and Sioux Falls, and an excellent late model farm equipment auction in Albany, Minnesota. Also join Piper's for the second annual Len Sadler Classic Car Auction in Bowman on July 26th for nearly 50 classics featuring a 1990s ZR1 Vet and an 08 Shelby GT500 with low miles. For full details and online bidding on all upcoming auctions, log on to pipers.com.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner in ag lending. With our deep understanding and appreciation for the Western way of life, we proudly accept, respect, and promote the values that define our community. Whether you're a farmer, rancher, or business owner, we are here to support your financial needs and help you thrive. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for all your banking needs.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's your tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance, offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where local banking is as comfortable as your favorite pair of work boots. Step into our branches and experience a friendly atmosphere, personalized service, and financial expertise. Whether you're a hardworking farmer, a small business owner, or a local resident, we've got the banking solutions that you need. So kick off your boots and let us take care of your financial needs at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors continues on a Saturday morning across what we like to call a little piece of heaven. That's right. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. We got Tyler Nude here with me. He's has Tacko Outdoors. We're also going to be talking about some SCI stuff here shortly, but we got some text messages that we want to cover here. Tyler, welcome back to the program. They said, do you guys offer Kansas whitetail hunts at all? Because you said you do a lot in the lower 48 besides Alaska, and there's a good question.
You know, Kansas is something that's on our radar, but it's pretty low right now. Long story short, no, we don't have anything that we really recommend in Kansas at the moment. There is some great places down there. It's just, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to draw a lot of tags that Kansas hasn't made it to my list yet.
Well, like you said when we started the program out, you only send people to places that you've experienced and you've been there. So that means you gotta drop the bucket. You gotta go to Kansas, man. That's your next step.
You know, I'm not going to say it's not on the radar, but it's just not on this year's radar.
Okay. So clarifying your website, it is Tacko, Takco, not tactical outdoors, Tacko. So somebody wanted to know that because they're trying to search you on the website right now. So hopefully you get a lot of hits on it. Now, switching from that to SCI. Okay, now just a little shout out for the Rapid City crew down there. You said you're going to head down that way and go to the Greater Dakota chapter. They're having theirs on Saturday, August 24th. The banquet starts at 4:30, and they get in on that. So if you want more information, you can find a club in your area. You're helping out with the Teddy Roosevelt chapter of Safari Club International. Tell us a little bit about what does SCI do? What's their main purpose?
So on a national level, SCI, I mean, most people know, but if you don't, they lobby for gun rights, hunters' rights, import export rights. I mean, a lot of these animals that people are hunting overseas, everybody wants to take that right away. And really that's what SCI Nationals does. They have lobbyists in DC every day. So as a local chapter, we raise funds, we have banquets, we do however we see fit to generate revenue. The large percentage of that actually stays local and we use it for projects. So the SCI Teddy Roosevelt, we want to do a minimum of 5 and ideally 8 to 9 projects for 2026 is our goal.
So what type of projects are you talking about?
Our projects can range from partnering with youth groups to help them expand their following, to giving away hunts to veterans like we did last fall. We're working with some local outfitters here where we can get guaranteed tags, and we literally gave a guided mule deer whitetail hunt away to a veteran. Totally random drawing. We had a submission form process. I had a committee that got together. We went through, validated everything, and drew a guy out of the hat. He was actually submitted by a guy from Newcastle, Wyoming, and the veteran is from California, of all states.
Oh, good.
And super cool story. He actually enlisted less than a week before there's a maximum age of when you can enlist, and he enlisted 1 week before he met that maximum age, and he did 20 years.
Wow.
So definitely a worthy individual.
Yeah.
That is the one neat thing about SCI. Even though we are a local chapter, we do get a lot of reach. We have people, I run our auction and our banquet, the fundraising side of things, and we work with online hunting auctions, and I can see where all the bidders are from over across the United States, and it's a far-reaching organization.
Isn't it crazy what the internet has opened up for even small banquets and benefits like that? I mean, we're not talking a national banquet here. We're talking local people. And there's people out there that want to come to the Dakota Territory and hunt. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. And, we have stuff locally here, but we all, like, our auction we've got a lot of stuff. Like, I have Namibia, I have Texas quail hunts.
Yeah.
Spain. I mean, we have a big variety, but all in all, people want to support conservation, and they want to support groups that have a good initiative and a plan. And our initiative as the Teddy Roosevelt chapter is we want to support as many youth activities and involvement as we can, and we want to give back to our veterans.
It's you see a lot of different groups doing that. How do you go about choosing veterans? And do you have to go through a pretty excruciating process of trying to figure out who's deserving it? Because it's hard to say that one person deserves it more than the other. That's got to be a tough decision.
Yeah. So, like, when we gave that deer hunt away, we had 48 veterans that got submitted. I had a submission process where I wanted somebody else to submit them. A lot of veterans don't think they're worthy. They don't want to take credit for things they've done. So the way we set it up is somebody else submits them. I always like to hear a little bit of bio on a person, like what they've done, that kind of sort of thing. And I have a committee of very like-minded people that come in, we go through everything. And then we actually, picked out of them 48, I think 20 of them went into a hat randomly, and we just selected one that way.
Yeah. Now, coming up, your banquet is it in Bismarck or Mandan?
It is in Bismarck this year. Last year was our first banquet. We've been around for not quite 2 years now.
Okay. So this is
SCI Teddy Roosevelt chapter has.
It's relatively new in the area then for you. Okay, good.
It is, yeah. Last August was our first banquet. We didn't know what to expect. We decided in May that we were going to have a banquet, and we had it on August 1st. We had roughly 340 people in the room. We had a long-standing auctioneer come in and help us out. He does a lot of stuff for National SCI, National Wild Sheep. He's originally from the Hazelton, North Dakota area, but he lives out in Washington now. A lot of people maybe have heard of him, Les Olhauser. He's definitely helped out and helped us grow our following too, because he calls this his home conservation chapter. And I talk to Les all the time on the phone. And so, yeah, we're gearing up for our second one. We're really in the final, I would say, days, hours of ticket sales. And we're hoping that our crowd grows. And that's really why we ended up moving over to Bismarck. We needed a bigger venue, and we've got bigger and better things planned for the third banquet that's already in the works.
So what do you tell us when it is, what day, when it's being held, and where, what venue did you move to, the Civic Center or what?
So we actually moved to the Bismarck Hotel and Convention Center.
Okay.
Coming from the industry, coming from sales, I wanted to do things a little different. We had a vendor show. Of course, free beverages always helps people get in the door. That's going to start at 1:00 on Thursday, August 31st. Yes, it's a Thursday. We chose a Thursday in the summer because a lot of people go to the lake for the weekends. So the vendor show starts at 1. Banquet is at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, Joe Wygant or Teddy Roosevelt himself is going to be our guest speaker. And then at 7:30, our auction is going to start. But in that 6 to 7 o'clock time frame, we're going to have the color guard. We're going to have veterans giveaways. We're going to have a pile of youth giveaways. And when I say a pile, there's going to be a lot of kids that are going to go home with big smiles on their faces. So we want to have kids in our room. We want to make this a family event, and we want input from everybody to help us make it bigger and better every year.
Now, clarify the date again. What day was this?
Thursday, July 31st.
July 31st. Okay, I was going to say August 31st is on Sunday, so let's go to so July 31st. Okay, so just to clarify that for people like Waylon, that's probably going to show up there and win something like he does every event he goes to. But it's good. How do you get more kids involved in hunting? How do you do that, Tyler? I mean, from a guy that's booking hunts and doing everything for maybe people's bucket list hunts down to helping with the convention or this banquet that's going on in Bismarck at the end of the month. How do you get more kids involved in the hunting side without making them get bored? Because you see young kids like that 8 through 12 or 14-year-old really getting interested, and then right in that high school range, it seems like you lose them a little bit. How do you keep them interested?
That varies. I mean, there's a lot of kids in the Bismarck community that are heavily involved in trap shooting. For me, my youngest stepson and I, we do a lot of trips. Like last year, we went to Colorado on a muzzleloader hunt. We had a lot of time. It's a lot of free time for the two of us, and it's a way for us just to get away and hang out together. But it can vary. I mean, all the way down to, raised at full draw camp, that another avenue that we try to support and help John Armin out. And they have that archery camp here, and getting kids involved at a young age and just helping them have success in the field is also another big way of, keeping kids involved.
Now, do you think they always have to have success, or sometimes do they need to learn, well, you don't always get what you think you're going to get?
Eventually at a point in life, you got to become one in the realization that success isn't the harvesting of an animal. Sometimes for me, success is going and checking out a new area, seeing a lot of animals, maybe choosing not to harvest an animal, but having a good time and enjoying your time away from work and away from the day-to-day hustle.
With everything, you got some sponsors that are going to help you put your banquet on. Who's some of your big top guys that step up really nicely?
The national or at a big level, Gunworks has always been, Aaron Davidson is true to his heart, and he always helps conservation. They help kick in. We always have a gun on the auction. We've got a lot of local people that, kick in that don't want notoriety as well.
Yeah.
It's really a team effort, but I mean, outfitters, if we've partnered with them, if they're on our auction listing, they're definitely I would consider them a partner of ours, and they've helped kick in.
And it takes a village, man, doesn't it? Everybody to pitch in and help out, because we want to keep our hunting rights that we have. And a lot of states, man, they're slipping away. I mean, you can't even coyote hunt in California anymore. Isn't that crazy? It
is. North Dakotans are, if you're oblivious to it, it's not uncommon, because we are very fortunate here. South Dakota especially, super fortunate. We have a lot of rights. They will get challenged at some point in time. It might not be today, it might not be next year, it very well could be in your grandkids era, but it will happen at some point in time. It's inevitable, it seems like.
We started out the conversation, you said something that kind of stuck with me, and I wanted to get more information. You said, you've worked with the agricultural basis for quite a few years, and now you're into the hunting side. And the one thing about my program is I always want to see how to educate people how the agricultural side and the wildlife side go so well together. And what's the best way to educate folks on that? Because you see a lot of folks are like, I want to go public land. I want to, I always want to go to Forest Service property and keep that going. But the farmers and ranchers out there, the ones that are really taking care of this wildlife during the off season. So how do you work with the egg side?
That's something that we as a chapter haven't entirely figured out yet. But it is definitely important that, growing, that avenue is for sure. I mean, I spend a lot of time public land hunting and some amount of time on private land. And as a public land hunter, you have to have that respect for the landowner, and, they're managing their property. Most of them are running cattle on it, but they obviously have to sell for a living, and, they also have to manage animal pressure too. So,
Right. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Working with the Forest Service as an egg producer is never an easy task all the time, but it is information that people need to understand, that we can't just overrun it. There's a lot of regulations we got to go through as the ranching side, running cattle on public land too. So, and a lot of that includes taking care of things like weeds and water projects that also help out the wildlife too. I mean, water projects are such a huge thing here in the Badlands. And, I just turned a water tank on here the other day, and there was about 4 or 5 moose or elk around the outside of it waiting for me to turn that water on, because that's where they wanted to bed down for the couple weeks. So working on that. So hopefully you guys get into working with some of the private landowners. And how does a person get tickets to your banquet coming up on the 31st?
So the best way, the easiest way for today, tomorrow, the next, 3 days, 4 days, whatever the number is, SCI-TeddyRoosevelt.org. You go to it's called Raffles and Tickets, and you click on that tab, and you buy your tickets right there. There's an email that comes in. Your tickets will be filled out. They'll be waiting at the registration table for you. One thing to note, if you're bringing kids, $25 to get in the door. Adults are $50.
Okay. And what big raffles, big guns? What's the big giveaway this year? I mean, what's the top item that you're like, that's something that I want to take home?
There's a plethora of things. So if you're a private landowner, we have 360 ground blind from Little Missouri Archery that we're giving away on a limited amount of raffle tickets. We have we have a nice Fab Arms semi-auto. We have a really nice, $2,500 pistol. And then we've got some general rifle or raffle items. We've got a lot of stuff on our auction. Mort Sport Marine has teamed up with us. We're raffling off 10 backpacks for a chance at a brand new Can-Am 700 four-wheeler.
Nice.
We've got SCI Life memberships with a custom belt buckle, which I've got sitting on my desk here, that came from Red Bluff Buckles down in New Mexico, and it's all handcrafted down on a reservation. They're super nice item. So we've got hunts from Zimbabwe to Alaska to Spain to, mystery safe items, Kuyu clothing that we're gonna sell. We're running a mystery cooler where JD's Wildlife Design has a substantial voucher in there for free taxidermy work, which, John and I are both happy to be partnering with Jake, and does phenomenal work for us over there in Mandan. And I couldn't be happier to have a partner like him. And he's come in slowly into the fold, and in the last couple of months has just opened his arms, and he believes in conservation. And, oh, by the way, there's going to be in one of those coolers, there's going to be a voucher for a brand new pair of Swarovski EL range finding binoculars. So there's all kinds of prizes, whether you want to spend $100 on general raffle tickets or $15,000 on a hunt. We have a grizzly bear hunt in the Brooks Range in Alaska with Rudy from Northern Professional, who I will hunt with personally next year. My business partner Tyler at Tacko has hunted with him countless times. His whole family's hunted with him. We have some Teddy Roosevelt commemorative items on the auction as well. So really just a broad plethora. And then we have a youth turkey hunt with John Armand himself to help raise funds for Raise a Full Draw.
I'm telling you, it sounds like a busy evening, and I've helped with a few benefits, but you got understand the volunteers that help put this together, and they don't get paid to do it. So that's a big thing when you see somebody behind a table selling tickets, or doing a game or selling auction items, you go up and shake their hand and thank them for being part of that, because it's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is, and that's one thing that's really cool about our board. And I guess I get to be the guy in the spotlight because I like to talk to people, but we have our secretary and our treasurer, they're both in their early 20s. We have directors on our board that are, in their 60s and early 70s. And we have board, so we have a huge broad range of people on our board, which is real cool to see. I think overall the health of our chapter for being young is very good. I mean, we have people, the room is going to be filled with multiple generations of people from, their early 20s to, I don't know if we'll have anybody in our 80s, but I know we'll have a fair amount of people in their 70s in the room. So,
well, I'll tell you what, if people want more information, how do they find information on the event? And then also more information about your Tacko Outdoors. You got 20 seconds.
Yeah. So sciteddyroosevelt.org or SCI Teddy Roosevelt on Facebook. That's the best way to find out about the chapter and the tickets. And then Tacko on Facebook, TAKCO, or TackoOutdoors.com. We're pretty much an open book. My number's all over the internet. My phone's always on. Just call.
It's easy enough. Tyler, appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
You bet. It's Tyler Newt. Find him on Facebook and other information. Have yourself a good weekend, everybody. And make sure, to eat some meat, drink some milk, and wear fur and wool. And thank those private landowners out there. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. All right, Tyler, we should be clear from the radio stations here at this point.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks,
that was
man.
A fast hour.
It goes by quickly, and I forgot. I was listening to you and writing some stuff down. And I forgot to hit my outro music, and I forgot the whole big finale there. So, oh well. That's how you know it's live radio, not pre-recorded there today. So,
not perfection, right?
Not perfection by any means. That is for damn sure. But yeah, no, that's all right. I'm gonna look at some more info. I got a whole bunch of text messages here, so I'm gonna probably send a lot of this information onward, so they can get in touch with you. They're texting me instead of you, so I'll show them where they can find your phone number at.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. I see the website here. I just pulled that up for your local chapter there. So you got pretty much everything on there. You don't need to really search too hard. They got everything, all the prices and the whole works here. It's one thing, Bismarck, the whole Bismarck Hotel and Event Center, they do a nice job there, but it would be nice to have like a more modern convention center.
It would, and so like the event center at, that's on the backside of the Civic Center, it's almost too big an area.
Right.
I went to the Delta Waterfall banquet there last year, and really, because that was kind of my ultimate goal, was to move there. I have big vision. I want everything to grow that is around me. Like, I want your radio show to grow. I want Raised to grow. Like Jake Wheeling from Little Missouri and John and I told him, I'm like, hey, I want to figure this out. I want to have another Raised camp in 2 years in this state, and I want to fund the thing. But the that event center is just too airy and acoustic, and like the auctioneer, like it wasn't a good auctioneer, but it was a very, very bad auction because it was so echoey and chattery in there, and it just it doesn't work. So that's one thing that we're trying to figure out, just cross that bridge, is how to 540 people is kind of going to be our capacity at the Bismarck Hotel and Convention Center, which we're not going to get there in year 2, which is good, but the ultimate, if we can get to 400 this year, would be great. I think we will.
Yeah, and one thing, you don't want it so spread out that it kind of quiets it down a little bit. That the closer people sit together, the more exciting it gets. And it's easier to keep that excitement, especially as an auctioneer. It's easier to keep the excitement when the group is kind of close together than it is. I mean, think about going to church. Everybody's sitting in the back seats, right? I mean, it's no fun for the priest. If everybody would sit up front, it'd be a lot more exciting. It's a little bit more, it's more energy that they feel, you know, but yeah, there's a point of almost too big. You know, it's not, unless you go like to the national convention, right? I mean, that's different. I mean, that you expect that to be on the larger side, or like a Barrett Jackson auction, you know, where the ringmen have flags and air horns way on the top balcony so they can hear who's taking bids, you know. So there's places for it, but I don't think, but it would be nice though if they had just a really nice convention center that was easy parking, right? That's that's the hardest thing about anything that you go to is the parking all the time.
Yeah, it is for sure. Question for you. Can you make it to our banquet?
July 31. Let me see.
I've got some tickets in my pocket with your name on it if you can.
I will have to
you can think about it.
Yeah, let me double check with the wife, because I have quite a few things coming up here. Is getting closer to the fair season, and holy cow, I got a lot of auctions coming up. So I can I'll get back. I'll get in touch with you.
Okay.
I'll talk with her when we get down here and see what we got going on.
That'd be awesome.
Because when I kind of look, it starts at 6 o'clock.
The banquet starts at 6. Yep.
Yeah. So that'd be 5 my time. Yeah.
Yeah. Middle of the afternoon, right?
Well, not really. Not really. Hopefully, I'm got everything wrapped up and everything. Man, the wind just picked up here like crazy bad.
Yeah, and you know, it was kind of doomy and gloomy and foggy here, and now the sun just came out, so I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, there's some stuff. You look at the radar, there's some stuff headed your way. So
I'm fairly oblivious. I mean, I watch the weather, but I don't get too involved in it.
Oh man, it's everything I do every day. Probably 5 times a day I'm checking the darn thing here. Waylon Turner says, good show. Tyler, see you next week.
You know, it's funny. I haven't hit Waylon up for a ticket yet, so I better text him and tell him, hey, you haven't bought your ticket yet. So.
Well, he's thinking next week. You better say the week after the next one here. Bismarck definitely needs a new convention event facility located not downtown. I agree. You know, the parking is so. My wife and I went to the Sphere in Vegas when it first opened, and
yeah,
I'm an audio Nazi guy, man. I love good audio. Right. But starting out with the Sphere, since it's round, you can park around the damn thing. I mean, you're not that far from a main entrance anywhere around the whole thing. And when you get in there, the audio is so impressive. Like any seat, anywhere you stand, even buying a beer, the audio is exactly where it is everywhere else in the building. And I wish convention centers would take a little bit of like advice from people like that, because the worst thing is to go into a hotel where the audio system is really good for having meetings. Like if the whole room is quiet and they're all listening to you speak, not a problem. But when you try to auction or try to build a crowd up, or when people are talking and having fun, it is terrible. It's the worst systems. Yeah. They must still find the original Radio Shack still must be around somewhere, buying realistic speakers from Radio Shack to put in there. But yeah, I agree. We need a convention center that has really good facilities that are kind of designed for the big banquets, because they make a lot of money off of those. So
yeah, you know, and you'll be curious. I'm real curious where we end up. I mean, there's a fair number of us that have a lot of drive to see this thing grow. Our chapter president lives up in the Pheasant area, Brian Dinger, and he's actually a regional rep now for SCI too. So he works with a whole bunch of chapters, and you know, we want to see it get big and grow. And I mean, obviously raise a lot of funds to do a lot of fun things and do things for kids and everything encompassing. But I will be curious to see how Bismarck supports it. I mean, as an SCI chapter, we're the cheapest ticket in the country. Like most tickets are $75 at the cheapest, or most are even $100 is pretty common. So we're fortunate. we don't have big fancy facilities, so we don't have big fancy ticket prices either.
Did you sell your Dickinson table for $7,500?
We did, yeah, and I actually should have talked about consolidated construction. I freaking air gap that, but yeah, I guess we'll do that at another time.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh,
But
well. So what's
yeah, I never.
what's inaugural? Oh, I see. You got a few different things going on. Okay. Inaugural banquet on August 1st. I see. Board
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, you're looking at the.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling
You're
through the
looking at
pages
the
here.
events tab. Yep. Yeah, and I actually almost had a second Dickinson table sold as well, but that kind of fell through at the last minute.
Makes a difference when you can get those big boys in.
It does. It
Takes a lot of pressure
brings
off
the
the rest
bottom
of the-
line up fast.
Well, and it takes the pressure off of getting, and buying, whether it's guns or backpacks or doing all that other, it takes out all that pressure off of that.
That was, really last year to get our inaugural banquet off the table.
Yeah.
4 of us pretty much financed the whole thing until the banquet was over.
Right.
But it turned out, and it's growing, and yeah, we're super excited.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. I really like to move a group of cows, but the way the wind is howling right now, I don't know.
Waylon's messaging me now.
Yeah, good. He's an old son of a bitch.
Yeah. Kid, if Waylon's old, you can't be much older than me, Scott.
I think if you...
Or are you just young at heart?
I'll let Waylon answer that question.
Mm.
We went to high school together. We were in the same class, but he was way older than I was.
There you go.
I think he was the oldest guy in the damn classroom.
Oh yeah.
I think they held him back and down in Shields, down on the res, like 20 years. What happened?
Oh shit. So, a couple questions for you. Do you know Les Olhauser, our auctioneer?
I know of him. I don't know him very well, but I know of
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, Les, and I've known Les from conservation. That's actually, I met Les. I know his family from the Hazleton country, but I met Les through conservation banquets and that. But, he's coming of age. So we are, I'm not going to put him to pasture, but I'm going to guess it's not going to be very far. Him and I were actually talking about it last night. Another guy that he works with. So we will be looking for a different auctioneer, I would say, in the next few years.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it's there's a lot of them. Jesus, state of North Dakota and South Dakota, man, there are so many of them. And now
he is. But what you said about having a good one, it matters, and having one that knows outdoors and knows hunting and fishing matters a lot too. Because I've been to some banquets where the guy doesn't know what he's selling, and it's like, "Ooh, I'm going to get a deal tonight."
Right. Well, and not only that, but you gotta. Here's my biggest pet peeve in watching, going to different places, is you see the auctioneers show up at, like, the auction starts at 7:30, they show up at 7:15, and then as soon as it's done, they walk out and they leave. And I just don't think that's right. I spend the whole day there. I go and talk to people, and like the Teddy Roosevelt thing I was telling you about. I was hanging out by the live auction items when I saw somebody walk up to the buffalo head mount from Dances with Wolves, the buffalo that was actually shot in the movie that was donated to that. And I saw this guy and I talked to him, and I'm like, "What do you think this is worth?" And he's like, "Wow, geez, I don't know, 50, 60 grand or something." So I knew he was in for that. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it takes in order to go around. You have to go out and see what people are looking at and talk with them. And then when it comes to the auction side of things, I was looking at him. I walked right over to him with them, and I was like, pointed right. He's like, "Okay." He's like, "You're right. I did tell you it was worth this." So that, and not only that, but your ringmen, you got to have the, if you hire an auction, you hire the team, boy, and if you can bring the auctioneer and 2 good ringmen that know how to work together, boy, howdy, let me tell you, because there's things that I can say in my chant that I could bring 3 or 4 people, different ones. They know what I'm saying in my chant to be able to know where I'm at, where I want them to push, and which person needs to go a little bit harder, And so you need to come up to the Boxers and Beer for Bismarck Cancer Center when I come do that.
Yeah,
That's coming up here.
when
do we do that?
when's that?
I do the Bucks for Bras and I do the Boxers and Beer. I think Boxers was in April. The Bucks for Bras is this fall.
Yo,
But call
do they still do the Bucks for Bras?
Oh yeah. They just moved it over
Okay.
to the was it Elks or whatever?
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But if you want a reference as an auctioneer, call Sarah at the Cancer Center and see what she thinks. Because nothing speaks better than somebody that's already used me and had me. So,
Well, you said some things early on in your conversation about the team and knowing what you're doing. Yeah, I'm a pretty good judge when it comes to that. I've been 20 years in sales and sales management. I can sort my way through a party pretty fast.
Yeah. No, it's just the problem is, it'd be easier if a guy was located in Bismarck, but yeah. No, I've been very fortunate to do some pretty cool things, pretty cool auctions.
Yeah, and I mean it's fortunate but unfortunate. I mean, we pay travel expenses and all that. I mean, it's customary. I mean, just take care of business. But it's tougher for you. I get it. But and we're bringing
miles. Yeah.
Ted Beach is actually coming in he's going to help with bid spotting and going to work with a couple of different guys this year too to help us out because
that
was trial by error last year. Yeah, and Ted worked with Les at lots and lots of auctions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is a huge thing. And a lot of people don't know there's actually a ringman school.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, you see these guys on, like Barrett Jackson's a good one, Mecum Auctions. Those guys have to have schooling in order to be at that level. So, but I suppose I better get my day going here. So thanks again. Appreciate it. And keep in touch. If you need anything, you got my number.
Yeah, I'll always jump on. It was a good time.
Cool. Thanks, man. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Bye.
You too.
Oh, YouTubers, young at heart, body not so much. I still try. Have yourselves a good day, everybody.